Poor people usually spend their money and invest what's left. That's the philosophy of the poor. Now here's the philosophy of the rich. Rich people invest their money and spend what's left. And here's the startling answer. It really doesn't matter what the amount is. What's most important is not the amount. What's really important is the philosophy. So I would ask you to adopt this philosophy of spending after you have invested. There's a reason lottery winners often end up broke. And there's a reason self-made millionaires, when they lose everything, find a way to build it all back again. It's not about the money, it's about who you become. The question isn't, how much do you earn? The question is, who are you becoming? Change that and money will follow. Imagine two people standing in front of a field. One sees an empty patch of dirt. The other sees an opportunity to plant seeds. That's the difference between a poor and a rich mindset. Some people look at their paycheck and see expenses. Others see possibilities. The key to wealth isn't just in how much you make. It's in how you see money and what you do with it. The greatest divide in wealth isn't in bank accounts. It's in thinking. Two people can start at the same point in life, but 10 years later, one is wealthy while the other struggles. Why? Because the wealthy understand a fundamental truth. Money is a servant, not a master. The poor work for money, but the rich make money work for them. I once asked a wealthy man, "What's the secret to getting rich?" He smiled and said, "It's not about getting rich. It's about never thinking poor." At first I didn't understand, but over time, I saw what he meant. The poor mindset is reactive, always responding to circumstances. The rich mindset is proactive, always creating opportunities. If you shift your thinking, your finances will follow. Imagine you're given a golden goose that lays eggs every day. Would you take care of it or cook it for a feast? The poor mindset spends the goose. The rich mindset nurtures it. That's why some people stay broke no matter how much they earn, while others build lasting wealth. The secret isn't in how much you make. It's in how you manage what you have. There are two ways to live. You can be a consumer or a creator. The poor mindset spends first and wonders why nothing is left. The rich mindset builds, invests, and multiplies. Wealthy people don't wait for opportunities, they create them. If you want to change your financial future, you must first change the way you see money. If you take a person with a poor mindset and double their income, they'll double their expenses. If you take a person with a rich mindset and cut their income in half, they'll find a way to rebuild it. Wealth isn't about what you have, it's about what you do with what you have. The difference between rich and poor isn't in their pockets, it's in their perspective. Let's talk about how to make the shift that leads to lasting financial success. Everything begins in the mind. Before wealth ever shows up in your bank account, it must first exist in your thinking. The difference between the rich and the poor isn't just in their circumstances, it's in their mindset. The poor mindset says, "I can't afford it." The rich mindset asks, "How can I afford it?" One statement shuts down possibility. The other opens the door to creativity and solutions. That small shift in thinking makes all the difference. I've met people who earn six figures and are still broke, living paycheck to paycheck. I've also met people who started with nothing and built financial empires. What's the difference? One group sees money as something to spend. The other sees it as something to grow. The poor mindset believes wealth is about luck, inheritance, or the economy. The rich mindset understands that wealth is created through discipline, learning, and strategy. Take the story of two individuals, both earning the same salary. One spends every dollar upgrading cars, buying expensive gadgets, and living for the moment. The other invests in knowledge, learns about wealth creation, saves, and eventually starts a business. 5 years later, one is drowning in debt, and the other is financially free. Same income, different outcome. The secret? Mindset. Mindset. Most people think wealth is about how much money you make. But have you noticed that many lottery winners go broke within a few years? Why? Because they received money without a wealth mindset. Without the habits, the thinking, and the discipline of the rich, they simply return to where they started. Money alone doesn't make you rich. The right mindset does. The good news? You can change your mindset today. Start seeing money as a tool, not a goal. Start thinking long-term instead of short-term. Instead of saying, I can't do that, ask, what skills do I need to learn to make it happen? Instead of spending first and saving what's left, invest first and spend what's left. Your financial future will be determined by how you think about money today. If you want to change your wealth, change your mindset first. Because until the mind is rich, the wallet never will be. The way you handle money determines whether you stay broke or become wealthy. And here's a simple but powerful truth. Poor people spend their money and invest what's left, if anything is left. Rich people invest their money first and spend what's left. That one shift in thinking creates an entirely different financial future. It's not about how much money you make, it's about what you do with what you have. Imagine two people earning the same salary. One spends first. New clothes, dining out, a car payment, maybe a vacation. Then, if there's anything left, they think about saving or investing. But by then, there's usually nothing left. The other person follows a different rule. They take a percentage of their income, 10%, 20%, even 30%, and invest it before they touch a single dollar for spending. They live on what remains, even if it means driving an older car or skipping the latest gadgets. Fast forward 10 years, and the first person is still living paycheck to paycheck, while the second has built wealth, freedom, and choices. Most people say, I'll start investing when I have more money. But that's backward thinking. It's not about how much you have, it's about developing the habit. If you can't invest when you make a little, you won't invest when you make a lot. Discipline is the key. When you invest first, you make wealth a priority instead of an afterthought. Think of a farmer. A foolish farmer eats all his seeds, enjoying the short-term pleasure of a full stomach. But when planting season comes, he has nothing to grow. A wise farmer sets aside his best seeds to plant first, knowing that a future harvest is more valuable than today's feast. Money works the same way. If you consume everything you earn, you leave no room for growth. Wealth isn't built on luck or high income. It's built on principles. And one of the most powerful principles is this: always invest before you spend. It's a simple habit, but it changes everything. Because if you learn to take care of your future first, your future will take care of you. Most people go to work just to earn a paycheck. They trade their time for money, hoping that somehow, if they work long enough, things will get better. But the wealthy think differently. They don't just work for a living. They work for learning. Because when you focus on learning, you increase your value. And when you increase your value, the marketplace rewards you. Imagine two employees working the same job. One does the bare minimum, just enough to keep from getting fired, watching the clock and waiting for the weekend. The other approaches work differently. They see every task as a chance to grow, every challenge as a lesson, every project as an opportunity to develop skills. 10 years later, the first person is still in the same position, complaining about low wages and unfair treatment. The second person? They've climbed the ranks, built new opportunities, maybe even started their own business. The difference isn't intelligence or luck. It's the mindset of learning. Learn to love. Let life happen. Let good. Let bad. Let yourself survive the suppression of bad. If you're only working for a paycheck, you're limiting yourself. But if you're working to gain knowledge, develop skills, and create value, your income will naturally rise. Because the marketplace pays for value, not time. The question is, how much are you worth? And that depends on how much you've learned. Look at the world's wealthiest people: entrepreneurs, investors, innovators. They didn't just work for money. They worked to gain knowledge, experience, and insight. They understood that the more they learned, the more they could contribute. And the more they contributed, the more wealth followed. So whatever you do, don't just clock in and clock out. Study your industry, develop new skills, seek out mentors, read books, take courses. Because every new piece of knowledge makes you more valuable. And when you become more valuable, success becomes inevitable. If there's one lesson about wealth that should never be ignored, it's this: never rely on just one source of income. Too many people put all their financial security in a single paycheck, a single job, a single business. And when that source is threatened, when the company downsizes, the economy shifts, or unexpected expenses arise, they find themselves in trouble. So, if your job is your only source of income, you are one step away from poverty. Wealthy people think differently. They understand that true financial security comes from having multiple streams of income. If one dries up, the others keep flowing. They don't just work for money, they make money work for them. Look at how nature works. A river that has only one source feeding it is vulnerable. If that source dries up, the river disappears. But a river with multiple streams flowing into it remains strong no matter what happens to one of the sources. Your income should work the same way. Think about it. If your job is your only source of income, you're living on financial quicksand. But if you start investing, create a side business, generate passive income, or develop skills that allow you to earn in different ways, you gain control. You move from financial survival to financial independence. Wealthy understand this concept well. They invest in real estate, stocks, businesses, intellectual property. They create products, offer services, build networks. They look for ways to create income streams that continue to flow whether they're working or not. They build assets, things that generate income on their own. It doesn't matter where you start. You could start by setting aside a small amount to invest. You could turn a skill or hobby into a side income. You could build a business in your spare time. The key is to start. Because the sooner you build multiple streams, the sooner you create financial freedom. So ask yourself, if your main source of income disappeared tomorrow, what would you do? If you don't like the answer, it's time to create more options. The best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is now. Second best time is now. Money is a tool. In the right hands, it builds wealth, security, and freedom. In the wrong hands, it disappears as quickly as it comes. The difference isn't in how much money you make, it's in how well you manage it. Some people make millions and end up broke. Others make modest incomes and become financially independent. The secret isn't in the paycheck, it's in the discipline. In the discipline, in the compassion, in the discipline, in the discipline, in the discipline. Discipline in the discipline. Most people have a backwards approach to money. They earn, they spend, and then, if anything is left, they might think about saving or investing. But wealth isn't built by chance. It's built by design. Money must have a plan, a system, a purpose. If you don't tell your money where to go, it will disappear. A simple principle can change everything. Pay yourself first. Before you spend $1, set aside a portion for savings, investments, and future growth. Make it automatic. The poor let money control them, but the wealthy control their money. Think about the difference between a bucket with a hole in it and one that steadily fills up. Most people live with financial leaks. Impulse spending, unnecessary debt, buying things they don't need. The wealthy seal those leaks. They track where their money goes, they avoid waste, and they make every dollar work for them. Some people say, if I made more money, I'd save more. But that's a lie. If you can't manage a little, you won't manage a lot. Good habits don't start when you're rich. They start where you are. The amount doesn't matter, the habit does. The wealthy know that money is a servant, not a master. They control it, they direct it, they make it grow. They don't just earn money, they make money work for them. And when you learn to master your money, you're not just securing your future, you're creating freedom. So the question is, are you in control of your money, or is your money in control of you? The answer will determine your financial destiny. Most people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can accomplish in a decade. That's why so many start with big dreams but give up when they don't see immediate results. Wealth, success, and true achievement don't happen overnight. They are the result of consistent, disciplined effort over years. The question isn't what you can achieve today, it's what direction you're moving in for the next 10 years. Look at the truly successful people. They don't chase quick wins. They build lasting foundations. They know that success is not about intensity, but consistency. They plant seeds, water them, nurture them, and wait patiently for the harvest. Most people, on the other hand, plant a seed today and expect a tree tomorrow. When they don't see results immediately, they quit and start over, never staying long enough to reap the rewards. Think of the power of compound interest. If you invest small amounts consistently over time, it grows exponentially. The same applies to your knowledge, your skills, your career, and your financial habits. Small, smart decisions repeated consistently lead to extraordinary results. But here's the catch. You must think long-term. Imagine you commit to reading 10 pages of a good book every day. In one day, it may not seem like much. But in a year, you've read several life-changing books. In 5 years, you've absorbed more wisdom than most people do in a lifetime. The same applies to your finances. If you start saving and investing now, even in small amounts, in 10 years, you'll be far ahead of the person who waited for the right time. Most people are stuck in short-term thinking. They focus on today's pleasures at the expense of tomorrow's rewards. The wealthy delay gratification. They sacrifice a little now for a greater future. They don't spend all their money on entertainment. They invest in education. They don't waste time on distractions. They build valuable skills. They don't chase every shiny object. They commit to long-term goals. They don't waste time on distractions. They commit to long-term goals. The real question is, where will you be in 10 years if you start making the right choices today? Because whether you plan for it or not, 10 years will pass. The only difference is where you'll end up when they do. Money doesn't follow need, it follows value. The marketplace doesn't pay you for your time, it pays you for the value you bring. If you want to earn more, don't complain about your circumstances. Become more valuable. And the fastest way to increase your value? Become a problem solver. Look around. Every successful person, every wealthy individual, every thriving business has one thing in common. They solve problems. The bigger the problem, the bigger the paycheck. The person who flips burgers earns minimum wage, because the problem they solve is simple. The person who builds businesses, innovates technology, or leads organizations earns millions because they solve bigger, more complex problems. Think about this. Why do doctors, engineers, and CEOs earn so much? Because they have the skills and knowledge to solve high-level problems. The doctor saves lives. The engineer designs solutions. The CEO leads a company through challenges. They are paid for their ability to think critically, make decisions, and add value. The more valuable you become, the more people will pay you for your expertise. But problem solving isn't just for business. It's a mindset. Instead of complaining about what's wrong, start asking, how can I fix it? Instead of saying, I can't afford it, ask, how can I afford it? Shift from being a victim of circumstances to being the creator of solutions. The best entrepreneurs are simply expert problem solvers. They look for inefficiencies, frustrations, and needs in the world and create solutions. Think of Steve Jobs. He didn't just sell computers. He solved the problem of clunky, complicated technology. Elon Musk didn't just start a car company. He solved the problem of sustainable transportation. Wealth follows those who find and fix problems. But here's the key: you don't have to be a genius or an inventor. Just start solving problems where you are. In your job, become the person who fixes what's broken. In your business, look for ways to serve customers better. In your community, step up and make things better. The more problems you solve, the more valuable you become. If you want more income, create more impact. Because the world doesn't pay for effort, it pays for results. Time is the great equalizer. Whether you are rich or poor, successful or struggling, everyone gets the same 24 hours in a day. The difference? The poor waste time while the rich invest it. The question is, how are you spending yours? Some people treat time like it's unlimited. They wake up late, scroll through social media, binge watch television, and engage in meaningless conversations. They trade time for cheap entertainment instead of valuable growth. And then they wonder why life never changes. But successful people think differently. They guard their time like a precious asset because they know time is more valuable than money. You can lose money and make it back. But once time is gone, it's gone forever. Look at the habits of wealthy, successful people. They read books instead of watching mindless TV. They use their mornings to plan, strategize, and grow. They turn downtime into learning time, listening to audiobooks, attending seminars, and studying success. They delegate low-value tasks and focus on activities that move them forward. They don't waste time on things that don't serve their goals. Imagine two people with the same job and the same paycheck. One spends evenings watching sitcoms, while the other invests time in learning a new skill. One sleeps in on weekends while the other builds a side business. Fast forward 5 years. One is stuck in the same place, complaining about life, while the other has increased their income, expanded their opportunities, and is on the path to wealth. So, how do you invest time wisely? Start by eliminating distractions. Cut out time-wasting habits. Stop saying yes to everything and start saying yes only to what matters. Set clear goals and structure your day around them. Wake up earlier, read more, learn something valuable every single day. Turn wasted hours into productive ones. And here's something to remember. Rich people don't just manage time, they multiply it. They create systems, build teams, and invest in opportunities that give them back more time. The goal is not to just work harder, but to work smarter. Your future is being built by how you use your time today. Waste it and you stay where you are. Invest it wisely and you change your life forever. We've talked about mindset, money, time, and the habits that separate the rich from the poor. But in the end, it all comes down to one thing: your choices. Every day you make decisions that either move you forward or hold you back. The difference between a rich mindset and a poor mindset isn't just about money, it's about how you think, how you act, and what you do with the resources you have. Some people hear wisdom and do nothing. They nod, agree, and go back to old habits. Others take what they've learned and apply it immediately. They don't wait for the perfect time because they know the perfect time is now. So ask yourself, are you investing your time wisely? Are you growing your knowledge? Are you taking control of your money, your future, and your life? If the answer is no, then today is the day to start. Because 5 years from now, you will arrive somewhere. The question is, will it be by design or by default? Change your thinking, change your habits, and you will change your life. The choice is yours.